My name is Jose Vasquez. I'm a Southern Lifestyle Car Club, and I'm a president.
My name is Jose Vasquez Jr. I'm from Southern Lifestyles Car Club. I'm new member to the club.
Actually, it started when we were small. My dad had a '75 Monte Carlo. And one time he came out of the from the theater, and he came down Whittier Boulevard, and I seen all these lowriders, and it was nice. Ever since I love lowriding, since a kid. But when I got older, I got me the same kind of car my dad had, a '75 Monte Carlo. That's what I have right now, and I loved it ever since. And I want to pass on that to my kids. And my son already has a lowrider. He's building his own car. Proud of him. My daughter loves lowriding. She's 10 years old. She's been raised lowriding. So I want to pass that culture to them so they can enjoy it. And it's a family thing, and it should go on and keep getting stronger.
Damn, since I was small, since elementary, always been around it. I could remember every time I'll see like a classic car, I always catch my eye. I always have to break my neck watching it, And that's Dom's car already. That's my son's car already. That's how I see it. But I mean, they really love it. My daughter loves it. She really asks me Sundays, are we going cruising? I love seeing that, I wouldn't picture myself back then being like this, having kids or nothing, I didn't picture that. But honestly, the car, keeps me out of trouble.
All those cars, the nice colors, paint jobs, the bodies, everything, pinstripe, all that. That's the best thing about being out there. That's what people, they haven't been out there to look at a lowrider, you gotta go. But last year, it's been hard. Been hard because due to the COVID, it's been hard for a lot of people. A lot of people lost a lot of loved ones. I lost my father in 2020. It's been hard. It's been hard, and we gotta stay strong. As much as it hurts, we gotta keep pushing. And that's the good thing about the lowrider community, that they help each other to keep pushing, make shows to make fundraisers to help each other for funerals, for their families, and we all stick together. My parents are from Michoacan, and they came here to have a better life. They gave us a lot of good advice. We took them, and we're a big family. We look out for each other. That's what they showed us that's how they grew us up.
To be a Chicano, man, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I don't think there's nothing like it. I think it means a lot of things. First of all, hard workers, never give up, no matter what the case may be. We do what we gotta do for our family. And at the end of the day, our hands might be dirty and grimy, but we're taking care of our family. We have a roof over our head. And I feel like that's what it means to be Chicano, hard workers, no matter what.
I'm proud of being a Chicano. Our culture, brown skin, our background, our food. We love it. Everything we've been through, people thought we weren't gonna be here, but look at us, we're here and stronger than ever. We gotta keep getting stronger.
So the word Chicano, to me, can actually be very well defined by this book, and it says, a Chicano is a person who is proud of their heritage, a person who is responsible and committed to helping others of his people. The Chicano is a person who may be working class or middle class. He may aspire to have material things or to reject them, but he is a Chicano because he is not ashamed of his heritage, nor does he aspire to be something that he is not. Once the word is accepted, the person who accepts it philosophically accepts his heritage and his brown skin without any shame or reservations. To me, the word Chicano is an ideology, it's a lifestyle, it's not just a word. It forms who you are as a person, your ideals, your morals, the things you even just don't like. That's why you can have many different representations of what a Chicano is.
Well, the word Chicano has a number of meaning, a great array of meaning. I know that growing up for me, my mother was very much opposed to me using the word Chicano. She, a baby boomer, But I think it's because she had experienced so much racism and seen so much of the activism of the 60s and some of the 70s that she would often emphasize that I'm American. Not necessarily Mexican American, but that I'm American. And I never understood why she had such a negative connotation to using the word Chicano until I actually got to college.
So I have experienced some forms of racism personally in my family, and some are kind of not what you'd expect, and it's weird in a way, because growing up, my mom was the darkest of all her sisters and brothers, and in Mexico, they always pointed that out. Like, they always pointed out like how dark she was, and how it made her like a lesser person than the rest of her sisters, and she was always put down for being the darkest sister, and so that really affected the way she brought me up as well, but in a good way, because she told me to not feel bad about how I looked or who I was.
So growing up, I would be called La Güera just because I'm so white, right? And my first name is Darlene, so everybody thinks that I'm mixed, but I'm not. My mother named me that because that was the name of the nurse that helped her go through labor, and she liked it. She was supposed to call me Beatriz Adriana, right? And when I was in high school, I would say, that's awesome. That is great. Because I really did try and hide. I did not speak Spanish at all. If people needed me to translate, I would pretend I didn't understand. My Spanish was very much broken. And, you know, again, I'd be called La Güera left and right, but I was really stuck up, and I would just pretend that I didn't even understand what people were saying. And I remember sitting down in class thinking, God, I feel so sorry for them, because in life they're gonna have such hardship, right? Oftentimes, because I worked actually in downtown LA, I started in a sweatshop, and the owner realized that I had a brain, and eventually he had me working in his shop where they sold the clothes, and doing all kinds of managerial job there, even though I was a teenager. And I saw the way people were treated when they weren't so fair, you know. And I just thought time and time again, thank God that I'm not that dark. And when I got to college, I just realized how wrong I was in my thinking, that I should have a lot more pride in who I am and what my roots are.
I know there's been so many, because the way we look, some are bald, guys, tattooed, but in reality, I mean, they shouldn't judge anybody by the way they look. I mean, yeah, there's been people that they think, oh, he's a bad person because he looked like that. But nah, you'll be surprised that kind of person could be the best, one of the greatest person you'll ever meet. Yeah, sometimes they look at me because I'm bald. And it's all understandable, but don't judge anybody by their cover. I mean, not everybody is the same.
I think they're wrong. You could be out there and you could catch every type of person out there enjoying the cars. As long as you're good vibe, good intentions, it's all cool. There's some bad people out there, but I mean, there's no way to control that. Just push forward and, you know, stay on positive vibes.
I was born in East LA, but I didn't really grow up there. I grew up in South Central. We moved when I was 5. But going back and visiting friends and seeing that, I love seeing lowriders, right? And I would really be mesmerized by what the cars could do, and that sense of pride. But again, my mother and my family had completely negative connotations to it. So we were not allowed to be anywhere near them, or even look at their vehicles, right? I've been in a couple of instances where I've gone to parades and I've seen some of them, and they're amazing. I love that a lot of the cars, at least in my opinion, are from the 70s, because to me it's like when the movement really started, right? So there's pride there, even though now it's harder to get them. And I have to say that if I see them on the freeway in the street, I smile like you will not believe, because to me it does represent a sense of pride and culture. that is very much Mexican and American, that is very much California, that is very much LA, right?
I actually found a documentary on lowriders, and I watched all 5 hours of it. It was very interesting. I liked it a lot, and I only paid $5 for it. Very good. But it taught me a lot about how it came about and its beginnings, and it showed me that people really gravitated towards cars and to making them very extravagant because it was just a form of self-expression. It was just, I would say, sort of a coincidence that they decided to coincide. And it was just love at first sight. People loved customizing the cars. People loved seeing customized cars. And so those two just kind of went really well together and created a great culture and just subculture of just an amazing, already amazing tradition.
When, I know we're going to discuss it later, but when you see a lowrider club or you see people gathering and they look a certain type, like a shaved head and a wife beater T-shirt, right? And so they generally think that they're cholos or they're somehow related to something negative just because of the way that they've chosen to dress.
So within the car club, or within the car scene, there's a bunch of subcultures, whether it be lowriders, hot rods, the street racers, and all those kinds of things. They are all labeled as one, although some are more well-known than others. And so the unfortunate part of that is that car takeovers, they just take over a street and do a bunch of sometimes really dangerous things. Like sometimes there'll be guns present on stuff, and it gives a really bad rap to a lot of people who are just trying to enjoy cars and be happy with the things that they have.
Susan, good evening. They're just as dangerous as they are coordinated. They pop up at intersections just like this in the wee hours, and they're very difficult for law enforcement to get ahead of. It's stunts like these that can land people in jail or the hospital. Another set of outrageous street takeovers in South LA over the weekend. The first at Western Ave and Century Boulevard just before midnight.
Use of cars as weapons are not victimless crimes. And they're certainly not a game or a vanity project or something to put on your TikTok or your Instagram.
State Senator Henry Stern has introduced legislation to give more money to CHP to fight the problem and to increase the penalties. It's not just an inner city issue. Friday night in Beverly Hills.
Wow, yeah, an illegal street takeover hitting a Compton neighborhood. But it doesn't last long as law enforcement swarms in to break it all up.
So the media has definitely changed the way it portrays news. It stopped being more about factual coverage and it started being more opinion-based. So they want to be able to get good ratings and bring in a lot of views. And the way to do that is to depict these really terrible scenes, these shocking clips that bring in a lot of shocked viewers. They want to be able to bring people in, as many people in with as little information as possible, and then fill them in on what's going on so that they can manipulate the narrative of what these people are doing and who they are. The car takeovers and things that are violent are a minority, but then because people in general just like pointing out the negative things more rather than the good things, a lot of people see those negative takeovers, those people getting hurt, those accidents, and they're quick to label the whole car scene about being too violent.
A lot of people think just because you drive a lowrider, you're a gang member, you're causing problems out there in the street. Can you imagine how much it costs to build a lowrider? To go gangbanging it? I mean, we don't do it for that. We do it for the fun. Yeah, they think we're the bad people because we're bald, driving cars, lowrider cars, causing problems, but nah. They think a lot about us like that, but in reality, we're just out there to have fun. Cruise, listen to music, yeah.
As a Chicano, how do you think cars express who you are?
Well, because it started with us in the 50s here in Los Angeles. So that says a lot about the Chicano culture, you know. So.
Well, it's a culture from since we were little. You know, I watched my uncles, my dad. They did the low riding, so it just kind of sticks. We follow it. Try to give it to our kids coming up now.
Me personally, it changed my life because doing the bad things we did in life, now we're doing good things. And we try to stay clean. We try to dress better and have a nice car, and we represent ourselves in a better way.
You know, the cars they actually represent us. Like, you know, every car has its own style, and, you know, like, it just represents us. Like, we put our heart and soul into it, and our little touch. I put a little bit of gold because I love gold. That's my favorite color. I'm burgundy, as you can tell. So, you know, yeah, it identifies each and every one of us different.
It expresses a lot. We take pride in our cars. We do a lot of things that stand out. We have them always clean, shiny. It just, you see the difference. You see the difference in how much the people take pride in all their vehicles.
Everybody thinks lowriders, a bunch of cholos, a bunch of gang members, but you know what? I got my son. He's right here, 15 and a half years old. He drives that truck. He knows what the lowrider is about. He got standards, he got respect for everybody. And everybody that's here is our family. We love you. We don't no disrespect to nobody. We all help out each other. We don't diss nobody. So that's why I'm saying we're not cholos, but we all old school, but we have respect for everybody. And that's what we have to do. Get it straight, we got you.
Thank you.
Got you, mi ángel. Ya sabes, you know what I mean? Respect, brother. Got you. You guys are always welcome to our
I think you got your fools mixed up. You must think I'm somebody else. I'm not the same fool you knew that couldn't help himself and followed you around like a dog, strong on a chain, and wagged his cute little tail whenever you called his name. But baby, that will be no more. Remember when you walked out that door, I was on my knees. I said, now baby, please. You just looked at me and said, you know the score. And then you said,